Thank you for the micros. Thank you. Merci beaucoup pour cette question.
Thank you very much indeed for this question, which is quite complicated. Shukran.
Invited us all here. For me, it was especially wonderful experience, if I can share that. I did my first steps in Morocco because I lived in Rabat from shortly after my birth to age 3. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful reconnection to come back here, especially about talking about those matters that you just mentioned. Now, this is what you meant about Europe. Well, you know, Europe has always been questioned. Is it enough? Are you fast enough? Are you good enough? And what we see now is yet another iteration of this. And it's always different policy areas which Europe is facing as a challenge. And when it finds a solution, yes, it takes more time. And it does take more compromise than in other places where there's one president deciding by executive order. Europe is built in a way to not have this one president. This is one of the experiences that the long history of Europe's continent brings with it, that one needs to decide things together. If there's one nation too powerful, one person too powerful, Europe will go back into its painful old history. And frankly speaking, Europe is a powerhouse. The regulation that Europe passes usually becomes the global standard. That's why so many non-Europeans are so angry with European regulation. It's not because there's evidence that this regulation is bad, it's because they're not part of the decision-making. And we Europeans shouldn't take this and punish ourselves and think, oh, we're doing badly. No, we're criticized because usually what Europe decides becomes the global standard. But back to your question, how can Europe's promise maybe be translated into a broader phenomenon? Basically, countries that have been at war, that have been confronted at each other as enemies. My grandfather, when he grew up, he was surrounded by enemies. And now his grandchildren, they're married to Spanish, to Irish, and it's a completely different world, and which is a wonderful promise that you can, coming from being enemies to being family. So I was thinking, and Eli referenced to today's important match late in the evening, where the world agrees on, and it doesn't matter what educational background, what geography you are in, is that when you compete in sports, when you play together, you need to have rules that are based on fairness, that are clear, and everybody's ready to follow them. And that's what sports can teach us in its best way. And if we look at, I don't know, sorry, if this is my microphone, is it mine? So, maybe that's better, hopefully. So if we look at the current World Cup that's beginning, the world is united in the passion for it, and they all know it's 90 minutes, it's 22 guys playing, we know what a goal is, we know what a foul is. As a German, one used to say it's 90 minutes and then the Germans win, but sadly, no longer the case. But anyways, this is the standard that we all agree to. So this unification around something that makes us passionate, where the rules are clear and simple, if we can translate this into a concept of dignity, I think that would be a very, very empowering part. And let me also say, working now for the organization Women Political Leaders, this is not only a men's sport. It's very much a woman's sport too. And if we look at Morocco, I mean, the Atlas Lions, they're the #1 in Africa. They started 100 years ago, but the Atlas Lionesses, who started about 30 years ago, they're already #4 in Africa, and the acceleration, the success path of the women's team is more than double as fast than the men's team. So what does this teach us? To the passion there can be purpose, because it changes the nature of sports, it changes the nature of inclusivity, and it changes also the nature of ambition for people. So my pledge is make the rules fair, simple, passionate, and applied to dignity. Thank you.